I'd have to say my biggest music influences are probably Flume and a lot of heavy metal like Black Sabbath, Tool, such as JPEG Mafia.
Flume 100%. When we came together to make the mixtape, I think that was one of our biggest influences that we were trying to kind of base the whole thing off. Just his sound design and production is next level. Some of my other influences are just old school house and dub records, like Eprom. I think we both just had a bunch of ideas laying around and we just decided to make it all flow together as a mixtape. A couple of the songs were originals that we made for the mixtape, and it's usually a drum beat or some kind of synthesizer noise.
Personally, when we were working with chords and getting down a solid bass on the synthesizer and then working from there, or a drum sample, finding cool little gimmicks that we can work with and build something around. Well, I had an idea flowing that was super flumey, and Aaron was very into flume, and so I thought we'd work on the song together. Eventually just snowballed into creating the mixtape that we have out now. So
I've got another fun fact. Go for it. Some of our closest friends are buried deep in the mixtape. Just laughs and little sentences here and there that if you listen closely you'll be able to hear them.
I've really taken steps in making electronic. I really started out with a lot of trap and melodic trap beats. Working a synthesizer has definitely helped with that. Push out expand my repertoire and genres and make more drum and bass, and still stick as well with my original roots.
I'd say that my mixing has just taken leaps and bounds over the last year. I just get in the mixing booth and just tweak them until they sound as good as I can get them, and just getting my hands on as many people's music has really helped with that. And also performing live, I'd never done before the last year, but also when we launched the mixtape we did a little house party and that was very intimate and fun.
Yeah, experimenting tonight was definitely a big step, because it seemed like I wasn't crazy for liking my own music and actually people enjoyed it and people got into it.
I'd say my favourite gig was just a couple weeks ago. I did Dark Radio again, did like a stripped back, chilled out electronic set. Featured a lot of my friends' music, a couple other projects I'm working on.
We're just beginning to open up ourselves to more people and getting heard. We've made a lot of strides in that way, and but it's definitely a struggle to come from nothing to be something. And not only that is evolving the music itself, generating new sound and not repeating the same processes and experimenting a lot more.
I think if we were just two guys with guitars, it would be quite easy to slot in anywhere. Whereas our sound's kind of abrasive and not for everyone. Anyone can make music on a computer these days, so you have to really stand out to be different and push yourself to get shows and get heard.
That's one of the reasons we play at Ancients, because their venue is very much so quite out there and they accept all music types. We've been rejected to a lot of places just because we don't make conventional electronic or whatever. We're not playing the standard house and the acoustic sound, and that's something that we want to push more out there and get the people that do like the same music that we do. I think it's tempting to make conventional music. Me, myself, and Aaron would probably agree that I don't get as much satisfaction out of making a conventional sound.
I've made a bunch of just basic house techno beats. They're pretty easy to pump out. They're not fun. They don't push our limits.
Yeah.
Those two guys that were in the front row of Ancients and tapping their heads along was pretty cool.
They were very inspired, I guess, and loved it. And I think seeing people being into similar music and then hearing feedback from people that I would say have a more conventional music taste, saying they still enjoy it as well. Find the little pieces that they do like that we make.
Couple SoundCloud dumps of bootleg remixes, and they're some of our most played songs. A few people inbox us just saying they've heard our music and enjoyed it. It's great, yeah. It's very easy to have your music just bump around your friend group or your family. It's also good getting constructive criticism. It's not for everyone.
Even with my dad enjoying the music that we made was a big step, because he's definitely a big influence on my music life. Someone that has a very abrupt and static music taste can enjoy something quite out there is quite rewarding and inspiring, and keeps us pushing onwards.
We're not conventional DJs, we're not running it through DJ decks, it's all through the Ableton software and live triggering and live drumming, and it's very fun. We're going back further to my high school band. I can remember my first gig and that was pretty disastrous, yeah.
It was fucking killer.
The lead singer didn't show up. He was grounded and we didn't know, so we had to wing it and do a different song with just one guitar, because he played guitar as well. So stripped it back to one guitar and I had to take over lead vocals. You know, those challenges are what I think push us forward musically.
Yeah, I'd have to say the house party was like a different environment, and I wasn't used to, you know, playing even in front of my friends, who, at least for me, is harder to do because I, you know, respect their opinions more than random people that come to our other gigs. And so that was a very different experience and something that, you know, I'll never forget.
And apparently it wasn't loud enough. I saved all my pennies for the biggest speaker I could afford, cranked it to 100%, and straight afterwards a couple of people were like, needs to be louder.
Yeah, it was pretty loud behind the booth, so I don't know. My first EP coming out, it's going to be called First Take. Me singing and rapping and more going back to my roots than what we've been working on together. I'm very excited. It's some of the best music I've made so far, and you know, I've experimented a lot with my voice and different plugins and all that, and I'm very keen for it to be released. So
I'm helping with the mix and master on the EP, which I'm very grateful for. Again, just as much music as I can get my hands on to further my skills, I'm very grateful for. I've got a second EP with Adelaide rapper / hyperpop artist Iridescent coming out soon. I've got my own EP 4 years from now, I'm releasing either late this year or next year. I've got a collaboration on that project with a girl, Michaeli, who sings in the band Stormy Lou from Adelaide. I think that's one of the best songs I've ever made, and I'm proud to put that one out. I'm working on an ambient project with two friends, Kieran and Toby. Yeah, I fiddle with piano as well a little bit, but watching Noah just figure out chords and stuff on the fly, he's on another level.
yeah, I'd have to say keys is my forte. It's my main source of even inspiration for songs, but I do dabble on the guitar, of course, self-taught, but doing that since I was 14. The heavy metal, you know, has inspired me to, you know, try and get better at that, and maybe I'll incorporate that more in the future.
I'm trying to embrace my voice a bit more as well. I've got one song on that 4 years from now EP that I sing on, which I've never been proud of my voice, but I had some positive feedback on that one and just trying to embrace it. I've never been a big fan of Australian accents in music, full stop, but I think that's just, you know, something I've got to embrace and push forward with. But I've never had any vocal training or anything. I'm just do the best I can with what I've got. I wrote some pretty heartfelt lyrics that only I should sing. I don't want to palm them off to another artist.
Vocals have been an obstacle for myself. You know, I've been singing in church choir since I was 6. That's all up on stage. You don't really get to hear your voice back, and hearing it back, it sounds very different to how you expect it to. Getting used to that, and even hearing my own voice, you know, I can enjoy that, then I'm sure other people can too. We
practice quite a bit. I think for our next live show, step away from just having the tracks kind of play through one by one. I want to push it to like bringing in random bits from other songs that are in the same key and kind of mixing it all up a bit more.
Like we'll practice and I'll be playing the chords and things like that, but then on stage I'll just improvise, and so every single show we play I'm playing something different for the same song. I enjoy that, and that's something that, you know, still getting used to, you know, getting more evolved and getting more technical with my piano ability. Practicing, you know, pretty much the whole day before that, you know, we run through the set over 10 times just so that, you know, we know exactly when everything comes in, what we're doing, sound check, everything, to make sure it sounds as good as possible.
Yeah, there's quite a bit involved with setting up the live show as well, bouncing out all the stems and assigning a knob to pretty much every sound that we can think of, add reverb, delay on the fly. It's quite a lot of work to do, but it's very rewarding.
At the same time, if you're very new at something like music, copying other people's tunes and kind of remaking them and being inspired by them often gives you more opportunity to make something quite different to what that is. All music is inspired by other music. There's always something that we can take from someone else. You can experiment with your own way, but at least with that, don't lack the confidence to get yourself out there. You know, you've got a product to offer, and if you really want to pursue it, then it's worth pursuing.
Don't go crazy with the sample packs and the plugins. Just, you know, 10 gigabytes is like overkill of samples. You just need a handful of your favorite sounds, a couple of plugins, and just make as much music as you can. You know, the internet is your friend. There's so many YouTube videos out there. Pump out as many songs as you can and release as many as you can. You know, you don't need a record label. You sign up for an independent distributor and just start putting out your music onto the internet. You don't know unless you try.
I'd have to say, learn some music theory. Music theory is very important, you know, and 50 years before everyone had DJ decks and was mixing music, you had to have proper training to, you know, become a musician. And I think that's still valuable in today's era. If you do have that theory and you have that knowledge, you definitely stand out from the other people that just use sample packs, as Aaron was saying, and you have the, you know, the tools to make more things sound better.
I think it's very, very easy to get stuck in the box of a laptop or a PC screen. There's nothing wrong with making music that way, but I think if you can assign real life knobs to things, and you can fiddle and see how like twisting this changes that, pressing this button makes this noise, gives it a very human feel and creates some really interesting sounds that way. Yeah, follow Instagram and TikTok, and if you're in Adelaide, come to Ancient World on October 27th. We'll be headlining a gig there.
And as well, I've got my first solo show coming up December 3rd at the Gov on the Gibson stage. Come to that too. It should be a good night. I'm very, very excited because I'll be rapping and singing unlike our more conventional gigs. Follow our TikTok. We'll be making live busking.
Yeah, we're gonna
come find us.
Do some busking soon around the CBD.
Yeah.
If you see us, come say hello.
Mm-hmm.